We are officially back in school. I'm pumped. Let's talk about some of the things going on. So, Chip Happens, episode 30. Welcome, guys and gals, or whoever is watching or listening. Man, I don't even know. My brain is fried. So, last week, you're hearing this week of. So, this is right now, currently March 22nd. You're going to hear this on March, let's see what the date would be, March 25th, which is fantastic. I'm glad I'm getting these out and getting these recorded. This is number 30, and next week is going to be spring break. So, there will not be a Chip Happens episode next week. I'm going to try to take a break from this for a week, kind of give myself a little bit of time to think about what I want to talk about, think about this sort of things. But a lot has happened last week, and a lot have been, I can't even talk right now. A lot of stuff has been weighing on my heart, and I kind of want to talk about it. So, students are back in person. I think that's fantastic. I missed my kids. I had no idea how much I missed them until I saw them, and it was really crazy, really special, and we were getting right to work. So, a lot of my free time has been spent with how the things I kind of focus on, like my students. I really care about them. I really care about what they do. I've been trying to make some TikToks, that sort of thing, trying to interact, but it's really hard to interact with kids online and in person at the same time. And I feel bad for my online kids a little bit. And I tried to tell them, I said, look, as a teacher, all of your teachers here went to school and we learned how to teach students in person. Didn't learn how to teach them online. So this is all new to us, kind of on the fly. And I think they really, I don't know if they understood, but I hope they understood that. I hope they understood what we're doing for them. But no, it's been a hard time, man. It's been difficult. I have had no motivation to do much except be with my kids. I don't know if, there's a lot of stuff. I could write a book in just the 2 years I've been here with the hard times and the trouble I've gone through and just the sheer exhaustion. I can't even talk. Just the sheer stress of it all. They give you guys kind of a look into what I'm talking about. Working in a diverse department's very hard. I'm not talking about like racial diversity. I'm talking about subject matter diversity. We have teachers here that teach welding. I teach construction. We have a floral teacher. We have a science teacher, all in our little ag department. And it's very, very rough, very difficult. And I just want to make myself very clear here. It's hard and we all have different ideas. What's even harder is someone who doesn't want to work with the others. And we might have been in that situation before. If you ever worked a job, maybe you've seen or have had a coworker that just not working, not once, doesn't want to be a team player, is selfish. That's kind of what we're facing here. And it's really been weighing pretty heavy on my heart. And there's a lot of things I want to do, a lot of plans, a lot of ideas I have. And they either get stolen or they get told, or I get told that I couldn't do that. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, well, if your idea gets stolen, at least it's getting done. Yeah, it's at least getting done, but it's not getting done the way I had envisioned it. I think that's what the most important distinction is that I envisioned something. I put my time, I put my effort in it, and so I want that done the way I thought that it should be done, right? But other people may feel just a hair different about it. And it's been challenging. It's been challenging to wake up every morning. It's been challenging to come to school and be around people who take and not give any credit due. And I don't want to sound selfish. I don't want to sound anything like that, but all I know is I want to make sure that if I have a good idea, it gets done the way that's kind of the whole purpose, the whole goal of it. And I think it's absolutely utterly ridiculous that things get stolen. It's like we're in 5th grade. Come on, man. Ridiculous. Anyways, well, I don't want to drag you guys down any today. I want to make sure you guys are good to go. We've been going through a lot of stuff. As in terms of teaching and my own personal life, my wife has had kids back in her school for a while. I just got back and it was a shock. It was a huge culture shock. Having to wear a mask was big too. I didn't know wearing a mask all the time would make my nose so runny. I felt like people were judging me because they thought I was sick or something, but man, my nose was so runny. I had no idea. But no, it's literally crazy. It's literally insane. And I'm still trying to work through a way how I can engage both groups of students. I don't know how to do that. I thought I would come on today and have a great idea on how I would engage both groups of students. And honestly, I don't. I feel a little bit like a failure, but I don't know how to engage them. I have technically 3 groups of students that I have to work on engaging. I have online students, I have in-person students, then I have offline students. And that's 3 groups that are potentially, or that all need engagement, but are potentially not getting it. It's extremely hard to engage offline students. Extremely hard. I wouldn't say I've given up on it, but I've kind of given up on it, you know? Like, it's not like a bad give up. It's just, I have no way, and no one has any sort of idea on how to do that. Nor is it, and this is going to sound bad, but it's not worth, I have 2 offline students, and they're worth every second of my time, but if it distracts or takes away from the students that are in front of me or where the main students are, one group is going to be left behind. And I just don't, it's hard. I don't want to make that decision. So I kind of left it up to administrators to kind of tell me what to kind of focus on, that sort of thing. So I wasn't going to be the guy to make that choice, that call on that one. When it comes down to education, when it comes down to leadership, I think it's so important that we discuss and we talk about how we actually go through and how we educate kids. Now, I am not an expert on this hybrid learning. I mean, that's what they're looking at right now, is hybrid learning. I'm not remotely close to be an expert. I'll probably know a little bit more the next time we talk, but I want to make sure that I am super duper clear that I am not even close to being an expert. I don't have a desire to be an expert. But what I do know is that my classroom, my classes are built differently. I mean, I don't know if we all seen it, but I remember there was a guy on TikTok. He would take an egg and put it on his like bicep and flex, and his bicep would break the egg, and then he would flex and be like, built different, and like all this stuff. But teachers are built differently from each other, really, and students are also built differently too. So if we're all built differently, how are we going to succeed in this type of environment? And that's not an answer I'm going to give you guys, because I don't know the answer. But what I do know is I do know how much time and effort I put into educating and planning for my student. And I think that's probably the most important part, is that I need to know, or I need my students really to know how much I care about them, how much I really think about how to be better. What I also know is I need a break, right? This whole teaching thing is extremely difficult. Everything is extremely, I just need a break, you know? Like, it's hard being, like I was saying about the department and the plans, the problems. I need a break. I need a disconnect. I need to unplug. And I do have that planned. And that's why I will not be filming or recording a Ship Happens next week. There possibly could not be one for a little bit as I regain some ideas, as I regain interviews with people. There may not be a Ship Happens for 2 or 3 weeks. I need to give myself time to really think and give you guys more episodes instead of episodes like this that aren't really planned out or scheduled out in any sort of way. Something kind of planned. And I have ideas. I have plans for them. I just need those ideas to come to motion. And right now it's extremely difficult for those ideas to actually come to fruition due to different things like school coming back and not having the right or enough amount of time to actually go through it. But in terms of a life update, that's where we've been going. That's kind of what we've been working on. And I'm excited to continue on with this. Before we keep going, I want to make sure I give a shout out to everyone listening here. I also want to make sure that you are following my Twitter _Ship Happens on Twitter. Make sure you're following it along. I think it's insane, by the way. I had this conversation about building and construction, and I had this conversation about women in construction and how much, I guess, stigma there is towards that. And I might just do a whole episode on that separately, because I think the amount of stigma from women in construction are literally too much. Literally, it's insane. And I feel horrible for those women contractors. Absolutely horrible. And the reason why I'm horrible is that no one believes these girls. Like, no one takes them seriously. And I told my students, you know, my female students wanting to get into construction, I said, you better be perfect, because you're going to be looked at with a microscope. And if you don't, or if you're not perfect, then they're going to look at you different forever. They're not going to give you they're not going to give you a break. It's like a man. And I don't want to sound sexist, but it kind of is. A man does something, he makes a mistake. Oh, it's okay. Mistakes happen. A woman builder does a mistake and like, ooh, should have hired a guy. And I'm not rationalizing or saying that's everyone, but that's kind of the vibe I get from a lot of different people. And my dad was actually the first one to point it out to me, is that how good of work women do, but they get judged so harshly on the work that they do perform. And I think that's the biggest problem with everything we have in construction. And that's something that we're not really figuring out. Also, another problem we have is that there's some girls that just don't want, or most girls don't want to go into construction. It's still largely seen as a man's job. And I am not going to be the one to say you have to do something. If you're not interested in STEM, then don't do STEM. You should do whatever you're interested in. I'm not one to judge whatever you are interested in. You should find something you love, find something you enjoy, and go after it. There should be no, if you're a boy, girl, whatever, you should be doing something you love. I don't care what what it is. As long as you love it, as long as you're good at it too, you're getting paid for it. My personal opinion, you should be pretty good. You shouldn't be like, oh, because you're a guy, we're going to pay you more. No. You should be the best you possibly can be. And if you're not the best, then why the hell are you getting paid for it? You know? So that's my own personal philosophy. And I don't know if that is the right way to think or the right way to go about it, but you know, it's literally crazy and insane. Segueing on, I want to talk about a couple different things. The reason why this like girl thing got brought up is I watched the Grammys a couple weeks ago, and it was very, very weird. It was not a good Grammy in my personal opinion, and I feel like we're going through this forced third wave of feminism that is I don't really believe it's natural, but if that gets people talking, if that gets people excited, or more rights for girls, and by all means it's what's going on. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just confused. But segueing on and moving on from that sort of thing, I mean, I don't even know what the next thing I'm gonna say is. See, this is the problem. This is why I need a break. I had an idea and then it just went away because I was talking about the Grammys. Now, like, my mind itself, like, just to get a look into my mind, I'm kind of going in. So in case you guys don't know this, there's a thing called NBA Top Shot, and this is gonna be really out of the blue. Like, why is he bringing this up right now? NBA Top Shot, it's like a cryptocurrency. It's like Bitcoin, but instead of buying like fake Bitcoin, you're buying like gifts of like NBA players doing a dunk or something, and people are like paying like so much money for it. I'm trying to get on the train buying these packs. I've been on wait lists, so on and so forth, and it's super wild. So I don't know, they're gonna be dropping a pack right now at 12 noon, so I'm kind of like hoping for the best, but we're going to oh, I can join right now. Wow. Yeah, I want to join in, be on the wait list for it. But no, I think that's something I've been kind of looking at, trying to get and seeing, because you can sell those sort of things after the fact. So I'm pretty pumped about it, and see if maybe we can get in and get some quick easy money on freaking gifts. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it at all. But yeah, literally insane. But that's what I've been up to. That's where my mind has been rolling. I've been trying to see what, I don't know. I've really been trying to get out there and expose myself to the, not necessarily the best of society, but at least try to, like, I'm not super old, but I'm only 25. I'm in my prime, in my personal opinion, 25 to 40. Now, if you're like 45, you're like, oh, what the hell, this young kid? I'm sorry. But I feel like I'm in like my prime, and so I should be like experiencing all the things a 20-year-old should experience. I should be on the cutting edge of trends and stuff, and knowing, certain pop culture things. And I kind of do. And that's kind of something I pride myself on, is relating to my students in that way. But yeah, it's difficult. It's not the easiest in terms of, keeping track with everything. There's some things I care about, some things I don't care about. So looking forward to at least trying and seeing and maybe do it. It's like buying sneakers. Like, I was never into it, like in high school. And I mean, sneaker buying is still important, but I was never really into it. But now I feel like I want to get into something a little bit, I guess, cool, still on like the really tip top. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed moving and trying to better myself. I buy a house, I started doing upgrades and that sort of thing. It's made me feel so much better about myself, growing up, living in an apartment, that sort of thing. Buying a house is probably the most stressful, the worst thing I've ever done, but also probably the most enjoyable as well. I loved every single bit of it. I love coming home to a house that's mine, and I know it's going to feel even better when I pay it off. And I think that's one of the best parts about even looking into buying a house, is having that could be your own, like a space that is your own, I should say. All right. So that was one of the coolest things I've done. I've done a lot of things with the help of a lot of people. I can't speak highly enough about people who've helped me get to where I am, and that's kind of my own personal thing about. So just know that as I go through my vacation, I'm going to take some time to myself. I'm also going to really plan out the next few episodes, really think about what I'm going to talk about, and give you guys a little bit more instead of just me. But some of you guys may come just for me, who knows? But I'm excited, man. I'm excited for what's going to happen. I'm excited for the new stuff that's going to come on, that sort of thing. I have students that listen to this. If you're a student of mine, appreciate you guys. But I have students that listen to this. I have students that are pumped and love what I have to say. They want a little bit more Garibaldi every day. And that's awesome. That's awesome. And I appreciate every single one of them listening. But just know that things are going to get better. They can't stay normal. And what happened yesterday, or what happens today, I should say, is never going to be good enough again, because it already happened. You have to make yourself better. You have to make yourself tremendously better, right? Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day where I have to try, push something new, push something forward more. And that's kind of what my motivation is, And I urge you guys, find your motivation. It's spring break for a lot of people. It's going to be spring break for me next week. I'm looking forward to it. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Be sure to follow my Twitter _ChipHappens to find out when that's going to be. It'll be in a couple weeks. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace. This has been an episode of the Chip Happens podcast. Thank you all for listening, and I will catch you next week with another exciting episode.